Hi, I'm Leo, and welcome to the Element Lounge. Be sure to kick off your shoes, leave all your cares at the door, and when you enter in, be ready to vibe with me while we talk all things life. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hey, Elements, welcome back to the channel. This is Leo. I do want to make it very clear that the banner you see will say welcome Element members. That is because this particular video will start off as a members only. I'm gonna put it on my members only, and then eventually I will make it public. I decided to try something new while I am actually feeling okay, and that is if I see a particular post, whether it's on IG, X, any other social media post, and if it's a good topic to give my opinion on, I definitely will. And so I happened to find one that uh I ain't gonna say it triggered me, but I will say it triggered a memory or whatever. And so I decided, I'm like, you know what, let me go ahead while I'm sitting up here. I just took my medicine. And before I end up laying back down, because I was kind of up during the night or whatever, because I wasn't feeling that well, but now everything done leveled off. I'm like, let me go ahead and talk about it because I'm like, I think it's actually an interesting topic. Okay. So that is that. So here we go with the topic. And so I saw this post on IG. It was actually on the on-site page, and I think I also saw it on the neighborhood talk, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, because usually a lot of them they will end up posting, the same thing. And so it is from someone named Kim Winifred, and she says, forcing your child to eat what you have and not what they like is the highest form of child abuse. Don't do it. And so, of course, the comments were going berserk because I ran straight to the comments. That's usually what is a good idea to do, especially when you have somebody who puts up something that can actually be controversial. And so I wrote a response inside of the chat, and I was like, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a form of child abuse, but I do feel like it's not a big deal to feed your child things that they like, because you had two different opinions in there. You had people who wholeheartedly agreed with this statement, and then you had others that felt like parents like me who actually gives their child a choice, or who actually chooses to feed their child things that they actually are going to freaking eat. They were calling parents like us, you know, soft parents, or um what else, what was the other word, the gentle parenting, or that's the problem. I mean, it was just ridiculous or whatever, with the responses, even when it came to that end. But yes, that was my initial response. I'm like, I wouldn't say it's child abuse, but I'm like, if you are able to feed your child something that they do like, it's not a big deal. But then remember, I told you all it triggered a memory for me. And it triggered a memory for me because when I was growing up, both of my parents, my mother and father, they were together for the first 12 years of my life, okay? And both of them actually cooked. My entire family cooks. But when I was growing up, particularly before my brother and sisters came along, it was me and my older sister first. And both of my parents cooked. I never recall, even from my earliest memory, my mother or father forcing me to eat anything that I did not like. I just do not recall that. As a matter of fact, I remember my mother, particularly, me and her used to do this little routine together. And it's so funny because, depending on how you grew up, you'll find yourself doing some of the same things, or traditions rather, that you saw either one of your parents do. Okay. And so I remember we used to watch the countdown with Donnie Simpson. For those that remember, Donnie Simpson fine self, and he's still fine to this day with the green eyes. But he used to have the countdown with Donnie Simpson used to come on every Friday, and so her and her best friend, who had a son that was the same age as me, they would watch it. She would come over to our house every Friday, and but as they were coming over, my mother would go and get our food like it was this place, and they still, oh my God. And I've tasted, of course, millions of different types of pizza, but to me, even to this day, I still remember how good that pizza was. And of course, the place does not exist anymore, but it was a pizza place we used to go to that was called Hungry Stallion. And so my mother used to order all of us a personal pizza. She would get her red Fago pop, and I forgot what type of juice I would get, but she would basically get the food for all of us. They also made sure we had, different snacks, like a whole little layout. Every Friday, this was our routine and stuff. And so, even outside of that, again, my parents, they never forced me or my sister to eat anything that we did not want to eat. Other family members, like my aunties, uncles, I did not have that experience with, except one particular family member. And I'm choosing not to say their title on purpose because, some of my family do watch and I don't want to be disrespectful. I will say that that person is no longer here, but they were the only person that I recall where it actually was abusive. They would actually get so mad that they would, I remember them a few times actually physically shoving a particular food down my mouth, which during that time I did not like this particular dish that was cooked. Now, of course, as I got older, I loved it, which happens with children. I think with anybody. That's just like when I was growing up, I didn't too much care for tomatoes like that. Now, at my age now, I love tomatoes, because you get like I said, I went to culinary arts school. You also start to understand it's not only one type of tomato, you got several different type of tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, green tomatoes, it's so many different varieties. And so now I absolutely love a tomato, have no issues with them. But back then I could not stand them. But anyway, I physically remember her physically shoving this particular food down my mouth, and that is what triggered the memory. So it kind of made me change my stance saying, well, yeah, it can be abusive depending on how it's done. Now, if you are down on hard times and you have no choice but to eat certain things, I get it. But for the most part, I don't see a big issue in basically giving your child a choice or making sure you don't put something on their plate that they don't eat. I don't see the whole point in having a standoff with a child over something, unless it's medicine. If it's a medicine that they got to take, then yeah. Or if, they're on a liquid diet or something, they're sick or something, they can't eat or whatever. It's certain special circumstance. But when you're going grocery shopping, I feel like even when it comes to your grown spouse, even when it comes to yourself, you're not finna eat anything unless you just absolutely have no choice, unless you done been starved out. You're not finna eat nothing that you do not like. And I do not feel like you should make your child eat things that they do not like. If you know that they do not like ketchup on their burger, why would you put ketchup on their burger? If you know they don't like hot dogs, why would you fucking feed them hot dogs? There are choices. That is the point of having a freaking grocery store. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. Even if you were down on your luck to the point to where you had no choice but to shop at the so-called cheap grocery stores like the Save-A-Lots, the Aldi's, even though I would say Aldi's then kind of, got a little high, even the dollar store, even if you decided to go to the old school ramen noodles, there are different varieties of ramen noodles. So, and I just feel like in a lot of instances, adults act like children are not human. And I feel like it comes from a lot of generational trauma that was passed down because we felt it was right, or we were told that it was right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think it does have a lot to do with how you were reared. And again, outside of that particular family member forcing me to do that, nobody else I can recall, especially inside of my house, ever made me eat nothing I didn't want to eat. I was able to eat things that I wanted to eat. If I did not like something, I was not forced, to sit there, because you have some instances we've even seen in some movies to where, a parent and a child that have a standoff, and, they'll make them sit there for 8 hours or until they're able to eat some damn string beans. I never ever was forced to do that. And me being a parent now, I don't and have never and will never force Melvin to eat some shit that he don't want to motherfucking eat. Because the way I look at it as well, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. As human beings, yes, even as parents, you pick your battles. Okay. Even though you are the adult, I don't feel like that makes somebody a bad parent because they actually present their child with choices. I feel like, also with adults, forgetting that children are human and they have feelings too. Um, I think that we also have this thing to where, especially with Black children, in my opinion, we have this thing to where, again, we are so forced when it comes to being in lack, acting like everything is in lack. And what I mean by that is, for instance, as well, if you've been watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16, I believe it was the very first episode. One of the new girls on there, her name is Kelly. And so they had it to where, as they were introducing her, they introduced her for a 17th birthday party she was giving for one of her daughters. Her 17-year-old daughter was like a really, nice tea party or whatever. And you'll begin to see with Kelly, if you actually watch the entire season, that, she is very extra, when it comes to giving parties. Hell, she even gave a off the wall party, over the top party for her dang on dog. But anyway, there was a discussion because she ended up gifting her daughter with 17 different designer purses because it was her 17th birthday. From what she explained, her daughter, is a good daughter because I think she has four daughters and she was going through a divorce. She, has her own restaurant business, but pretty much a lot of people were giving her flack, basically saying that that was overkill. It was too much for her to gift her daughter 17 different purses, let alone designer purses. And the way I looked at it was, why is it too much? If you have the type of lifestyle to where you are able to provide your children with that, why is that a problem? Especially if the child is a good child. Now, of course, I believe no matter what color, that if you have a child that is disrespectful, who are not following your rules, who just a problem child from the pits of hell, then I understand. But if you have the means to provide your child with a better lifestyle, and not just materialistic wise, but just period, a better opportunity, I feel like it's our jobs as parents to make things better for your children, just like you're going to make things better for yourself, of course, within reason. I did not see the big deal of it because, again, she had the means. And we have millions of white children and white parents who do everything like that on a regular basis for their children, and they're not criticized. It's even a difference when you have, say, celebrities who are black millionaires versus white millionaires. It's an issue if the black millionaires are doing and buying lavish gifts for their children, or sending them to lavish vacations, or private schools or just whatever, because that's the lifestyle they're used to. It's an issue when it comes to them, but when it comes to the white celebrities, nobody blinks an eye. And I think that is absolutely crazy. You know what I'm saying? Also, another thing as well that I feel like we are terrible with within the Black community. We have this thing, this running joke to where as soon as a child turns 18, as soon as they graduate, kick them out the house. Where other nationalities or other races, that is not what they do. They will allow their children to stay home, especially if they're attending college. Even if they're attending college, unless they're attending college, out of town or somewhere else, but they will allow their child to stay home. You have some, I know one of my coworkers, I remember he, after his child graduated, he even allowed his child just a year to try to figure themselves out. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me that you have people that actually believe that an 18-year-old is supposed to have their whole life figured out, forgetting that at one point in time that your ass was 18 years old. And even if you did think you have your life figured out at that moment, I'm quite sure at whatever age you are now, whatever your big age, you probably can look back at when you were 18 and be like, you know what, I did not have that shit together. I'll even use Kandi Burruss as a perfect example. Kandi Burruss was in the music industry very young. I think when Escape and them were signed or even discovered, I think Kandi was the youngest. I think she was like 16, 17 years old. And Kandi was the only one, I think, out of everybody who did not leave her home until she saved her first $1 million. That is when Kandi left her home. Her mother allowed her that freedom to do that, and you see where Kandi is today. She's worldwide, millionaire over millionaire, okay, doing her thing, a boss person. And so I also believe that we in the Black community, we put our kids out too soon. We don't give them no grace. And of course there's exceptions when it comes to that as well. Again, if you have a disrespectful child, they not doing what they supposed to do, they not following your rules, they think they grown. If you have to put them out or feel like they got to be out, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for me, I focus on me and my parenting. But if they have done what they supposed to do, they do what they supposed to do around the house, they graduated high school, unless they go off to college. And I also feel like this, when it comes to college, I feel like you need to know your child. Every child ain't fit for college. Let's just keep it real. Every child ain't fit for college. You may need to send them to the service. You may need to send them to a trade school. You need to know your child instead of wasting all that money having them take out all these ridiculous loans, and they ain't gonna do right in the first place. If they wasn't wanting to be in dang on high school and they barely got out, why would you force them to try to go to college? College is not for everybody, and you have to look at the world that you living in today. And that's my opinion when it comes to that. But yeah, if Melvin turns 18 and he doing what he's supposed to do, which because of the way Melvin tested in to go to school early, he will always be a little younger because of the way his birthday fell. If I would have left it the way they wanted to do it, Melvin would actually be a year behind because his birthday falls so late. But we tested Melvin to start school early. So that's why he's 13 starting the ninth grade. So when Melvin graduate high school, I believe Melvin will be 17 years old, even though a few months later he'll be turning 18. But if Melvin is doing what he's supposed to do around the house, um, if he decides or I see that he don't need to go to college and maybe he need to go to the military, whatever, as long as he doing something. If Melvin is doing something and he ain't turned into no disrespectful person, I'm not going to throw my child out the house. Now, is he just gonna be here all willy nilly doing what he want to do and not doing nothing and just fucking off? Absolutely not. That's not gonna happen. He gonna have to be doing something, even if he decide to do a community college or whatever. He gonna have to definitely be doing something. But I'm not gonna be telling him or having in his mind, oh, as soon as you 18, you getting out the house. Now, will he have to have responsibility as far as paying some things? Absolutely. He'll have to start paying his little phone bill, or I'll give him a bill in the house to pay, maybe the cable bill or something like that. Me and his dad get him a car. 16, if he's doing what he's supposed to do, he'll be responsible for the gas, the upkeep, or whatever like that. But am I just going to throw him out to the wolves and expect for him to have everything together? Hell no. If he choose to go out there, and I help him when he choose to go out there. But if he have to ever come back home, guess what? That door, as long as I'm alive, is gonna be open. And that's just the way I look at it. I look at a lot of parents. I'm like, some of the things I be seeing, it don't make no sense. Y'all will sit there and hear the world. Sorry, that's my alarm. Some of these parents will sit there and give the world to these sorry ass partners or niggas, but will act crazy or get amnesia when it comes to their own seeds. And that's not how that's gonna go. Again, there are exceptions. For the most part, Melvin is a good kid. He really is a good kid. And I pray that he stay that way. Now if the nigga get disrespectful, whatever like that, now I gotta go upside his head. It is what it is. But other than that, no, I'm not about to sit there and put all these crazy and just have a feeling of lack on his life because this is the tradition. No, absolutely not. So I know this spiraled into a whole bunch of different subjects that spawned from what you see on the screen, but that is my opinion. Okay, so just to make it clear, my overall opinion is, would I say is the highest form of child abuse? No, I still wouldn't say that. Can it be abusive depending on how it's done? Like if it was done like it was done to me, then yes. But I don't see the big deal in allowing your child to have a choice in what it is that they eat, because again, they are human too. And your ass ain't about to sit there and eat no shit that you don't want to motherfucking eat. If you got a choice when it comes to it. So I don't feel like they should be made to eat some shit that they don't want to motherfucking eat. But y'all let me know, elements, in the comments. What do y'all feel about this topic? If I see some other things like this, I definitely plan on doing more uploads like this. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And then eventually, as things get better for me personally, these type of things will turn into where we'll have live discussions to where y'all can hit the link and I can verbally hear what y'all think about particular things that I run across. Thank you, Element members, for y'all support. Again, this video will end up being public. I'm going to set it for a timer back here. I'm about to go ahead and lay back down because this medicine is starting to work, and I wish you all a wonderful day, Elements. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me in the Element Lounge. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, and I would love to see you again. If you happen to have any opinions about anything that was discussed, feel free to leave it in the comments section. All I ask is that you be respectful and adult about it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.